Germany 1007 by 1800 Those Viking 1008 and Hebrides 1008.
The Cloud Report. The Barbers of Felixstowe. Having been away from England for 30 years and having washed back up on the shore in Felixstowe, but now with a wife and kids and with no job, I decided to open a cafe on the high street. Katya and I have called it Clouds. We'd never done anything like this before. Our careers were in totally different fields, in another language and in another country. It's been a steep learning curve. There's been a lot of turbulence, but I think I'm ready to give our first report on our first 30 days running a cafe on the high street, directly opposite Greg's. If you stand in front of a cafe on Hamilton Road, wearing an apron, a dishcloth over your shoulder, flannel in hand, looking like you're taking a break from wiping down the tables, the most frequent comment you will hear as potential customers walk past your cafe will be, "Oh no, not another bloody cafe." The thing that really struck us over the last month, however, concerns the second most frequent comment you will hear. Well, at least it's not another bloody Turkish barber. Often, this comment will be heard by an actual Turkish barber. Our cafe is right next to T27, a Turkish barber's, and the lads next door, Ali and Danny, who we get on very well with, can often be found standing outside their barber shop, taking in the excellent sea air and having a chat with the cafe owner next door. When Katya and I left Russia, we got stuck in Turkey for 2 years while we tried to sort out our documents and finances. We learnt a bit of the language, which is very beautiful, and we have a genuine love for its people who were very kind to us. It was an unexpected joy that got us through a hard time, and that makes the comments we hear on the high street all the more disappointing. Immigration has been the dominant theme on Hamilton Road, all the way from the pavement to the podcasts and the papers. It's been an ever-ready talking point that covers a multitude of sins, most of them heavily manipulated by some of the very worst people in England. Just a few dozen miles down the coast, in another seaside resort town, Clacton, it was used by a low-rent carnival huckster to get a job, as a member of Parliament no less, that he clearly had no intention of doing. I very much hope that as the Clouds move forward, Felixstowe will prove to be the anti-Clacton. The impact of immigration, or rather the lack of it, can be seen elsewhere in this town. When Katya and I pitched up in Felixstowe, having lost our jobs, careers and home, we had to study the local real estate market in depth and in a hurry, as we needed a roof over our heads. It was a depressing experience. One of the first things we noticed was the abundance of empty care homes, all of them cleared out, left to fall into disrepair, and now being sold off. Big, empty houses with 8, 10 or even 16 bedrooms, all of them with ensuite bathrooms, now falling to bits. COVID and the mismanagement of the government's response to it must have played its part, but it's England's attitude to immigration and Brexit that has done the real damage. There are less people about who are ready to do work. That has pushed the prices for labour up, and a lot of businesses in Felixstowe have gone bust. In the cafe, we can't afford to hire staff either, apart from our kids who help out. They are lazy and greedy. This will be the subject of a whole other Cloud report. The labour shortage is definitely something you'll see if you take the time to study the Barbers of Felixstowe. At our end of the high street, in what I like to call the Orwell Village, the corner of Hamilton and Orwell Roads, you can choose between 3 barber shops. They're within a 3-minute walk of each other. If you want to go to the hipsterish gentleman's, it's always ram-packed and you'll have to book up to a week in advance, such is the demand. You can go to Cos Cuts on Orwell Road, where Cos will do you a very good haircut, but he's a perfectionist and doesn't like to be rushed. He's also very popular, so you'll be sitting alongside 2 or 3 more punters patiently waiting your turn for an hour or more. The people of Felixstowe and those visiting it like to look good. Go to Ali and Danny next door to Clouds and you needn't book ahead. You just walk in and, at most, you'll have to wait about 20 minutes. If it's a rainy day, quite rare in Felixstowe owing to our unique microclimate, it gets quiet and you'll probably be first in line. Usually, they've got a steady flow of customers going through their chairs the whole day long and they work hard for their living. The Clacton Carney Barker, of course, would have us believe that there is something suspicious about all of this. There are incoherent mumblings about cash only, money being sent home, that the businesses immigrants typically set up are fronts for the forces of evil. I can tell him that in reality, immigrants set up and work in cafes and barber shops because all you need is a bare minimum of financial investment, scissors, a willingness to work long hours, and some skill. If he believes that Britain's problems right now are immigration and an excess of Turkish barbers, I suggest he goes round and actually visits one, takes a look in the mirror and gets his head sorted out. I'd like to end this column on a positive note, with a photograph of 2 Turkish coffees that Ali and Danny gave us as a present the day after we opened. On the day we opened, Ali and Danny came in, bought a couple of lattes and left a 20 quid tip, insisting that it's a Turkish tradition, to which I say, teşekkür ederim. I would like to thank the Barbers of Felixstowe and report that our first 30 days as the Clouds have gone very well. The Cloud Report, written and read by Tobin Auber, edited by Katia Auber, sound editing by Marcus Auber, music by Karibasi. Thank you for listening to The Cloud Report. If you want to chuck some cash in our tip jar and support the Clouds of Felixstowe Cafe, you can find our details in the notes, along with links to our pages on Facebook, Instagram and Threads. We'd be really grateful if you could like, share and subscribe to our Cloud Reports. Our debt to you will be eternal, and your names will be forever inscribed in the clouds.